Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Baxter Student Ambassador Program webinar. Presenting for us today is Val Routledge, one of our BSAP finalists from Algonquin College. Hi, Val, how are you?
I'm doing well, thanks. How are you?
I'm doing great, thanks. So just before we get started, I'd like to quickly introduce some of the people attending today's webinar. We have Andrea Dixon, Professor of the School of Hospitality and Tourism at Algonquin College. Raquel Queensborough and Louise Paquette from the Jamaica Tourist Board are on the line with us as well. And Carol Greenwood from the Tourism Industry Association of Ontario is also on the line. Here at Baxter Media, we have Wendy McClung, Emily McClung, Ian Stalker, and I'm Dan McDonald. Now, for everyone viewing today's webinar on the computer, if you have any questions during the presentation, just type them into the Q&A box found in your Zoom toolbar, and those questions will be answered after the presentation has finished. Okay, Val, if you'd like to go ahead and share your screen, you can start whenever you're ready.
Perfect, thanks, Dan.
You're very welcome. And I'll let you know when I can see it.
Can you see it okay?
Yeah, we can see it. Thanks.
Perfect. So good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Today we're going to leave behind the cold winter climate and learn more about the lush, beautiful island of Jamaica and the connections they have with Air Canada. So my name is Val Routledge, and I'm in my last year of travel and tourism studies at Algonquin. I'd like to extend a huge thank you to Baxter Media for the opportunity today to meet you all and present my webinar. So I'll start off a little bit about me. After my first year of university, I started a job in the tourism sector at Skywood Eco Adventure as a zipline and high ropes tour guide. I loved meeting new people every day and hearing all about their adventure and travel stories. After my first week, I fell in love with our industry and I was intrigued to learn more. That fall, I went back to university and realized that I wasn't meant to major in psychology. After all summer listening to people talk about their travel dreams and goals, it made me want to live out my own and pursue a career in travel and tourism. Last fall, I reached out to a few agencies in Ottawa to secure an internship for my program. I was introduced to my new colleagues and instantly felt like the travel agency setting was the fit for me. My favorite part of my job at CAA Travel is helping clients plan their dream vacations. I was lucky enough to be offered a job as a part-time junior travel agent, and I really enjoy my work. I've also been able to travel to Montego Bay, Jamaica myself, and experience the beauty of the island and the people firsthand. So some items on today's agenda are information on traveling with Air Canada, weather patterns, location, exports and agriculture, Jamaican culture and atmosphere, island transportation, accommodations on the island, food and drink, and to wrap up, an island tour with highlight destinations. So let's look at traveling with Air Canada. So Air Canada flies to Montego Bay and Kingston. The elapsed flying time is approximately 4.5 hours, direct or nonstop. The two airports they service are Sangster International Airport, located in Montego Bay, and Norman Manley International Airport, which is located in Kingston. So Air Canada flies from major cities across Canada to both Montego Bay and Kingston. Some of these cities include Vancouver, Montreal, Toronto, Ottawa, Calgary, Winnipeg, and Halifax. Tickets start from around 250 Canadian dollars and go upwards to 430. Be sure to check out the updated price list as seat sales are currently happening. So you can fly there with Air Canada Rouge. So they are a low-cost airline, a subsidiary of Air Canada. Main hubs for them are Toronto Pearson and Montreal Trudeau. Air Canada Rouge is a fully integrated in the Air Canada and Mainline Express networks. They launched in December 2012 and began services on July 1st, 2013. Air Canada Express is a brand name under which 4 regional carriers operate feeder flights for Air Canada. They primarily connect smaller cities with Air Canada's domestic hub airports and focus cities. April 26, 2011, it was reported that Air Canada decided to retire the Air Canada Jazz brand, and they created the new Air Canada Express brand. Some examples of the planes that they fly are Airbus, Embraer, and Bombardier. Some flight schedules are shown with the above cities. So they're direct from Winnipeg, Toronto, and Montreal. Air Canada also puts together a seasonal schedule as well to service the busier months. The graphic on the right is a routing map highlighted with flights from Canada. So moving on to weather patterns and climate. The best time to visit Jamaica is from January through April. This is the driest period. Whether you visit cities or go on excursions, you can swim and sunbathe all year round. The least rainy months are February and March. Trade winds are very important to the Caribbean climate, so generally blowing in all regions from east to west, some bringing relief on even the hottest days. So the tropical warm climate of Jamaica has a little difference between temperatures for summer and winter. In winter, daytime temperatures are around 27 to 30 degrees, and at night they drop a little bit from 20 to 23 degrees. The main difference in the seasons is found with rainfall and air humidity. Rainy season in Jamaica is approximately late April to October, when it's increasingly hot and muggy. It usually thunderstorms late in the afternoon. The southern coast and plains of Jamaica are not as rainy as the northern slopes because they're sheltered from the trade winds from the Blue Mountains. The mountains receive a lot of rainfall and are covered with lush tropical forests. As mentioned earlier, the sea in Jamaica is warm enough for swimming all year round, ranging from approximately 27 degrees in January through April and 29 degrees between July through December. The rest of the Caribbean in the period from June to December, like the rest of the Caribbean in the period from June to December, Jamaica can be affected by hurricanes, the tropical cyclones from the Atlantic Ocean, which are more likely between August and October. The last hurricane that caused great damage was Hurricane Dennis in July 2005. So what to pack when visiting? So from November to April, bring lighter clothes, a hat, sunscreen, a sweatshirt for the evenings, and for the mountains, a jacket that's waterproof and hiking boots. Through May, from October, you can bring more layers and the same basics. Today in Jamaica, it'll reach about a high of 28 degrees, feeling like 32, with the risk of thunderstorms developing this afternoon. So a little bit about location. So the island is west of Haiti and south of Cuba in the Greater Antilles. Its geography is a varied terrain, mountainous in the center and the east. Jamaica has 14 parishes, so they're similar to provinces that are grouped in 3 historic countries. Each parish has a coast and none of them are landlocked. Some of the countries are Cornwall Country, Middlesex Country, and Surrey Country. The population is 75% African descent, with 2.7 million people living here, spanning over 10,000 square kilometers. The capital of Jamaica is Kingston, with a colonial British power. The language is English and Jamaican Patois, and the time zone is Eastern Standard Time. So on to exports and agriculture. This island country in the Caribbean has shipped an estimated $1.3 billion US worth of goods around the globe. That was from 2017. Some of the top exports include inorganic chemicals, mineral fuels and oil, alcohol and vinegar, vegetables, coffee, fruits and nuts, and sugar. Agriculture is an essential part of Jamaica's economy, accounting for a quarter of the jobs in the country. The island produces and grows its own bananas, coffee, spices, sugars, hot peppers, pimentos, cocoa, citrus, and coconuts. In the pictures I have from left to right, cocoa, coffee, bananas, and then a map of growing areas around the island. So big, bold, and beautiful, Jamaica is very extraordinary. Each area of the island has its own distinct vibe, having something for every type of client. Water sports enthusiasts, bird watchers, historians, foodies, and golfers. The Jamaican dollar is the main currency, however, the US dollar is widely accepted in tourist areas. You can swim, fish, and play all around this lush island. Jamaica has a very diverse history, developing mostly from colonization. Its original people defined the island's very culture. The flag holds significant value to Jamaican people with what it represents. The black in the flag represents the hardships the people have endured, the green represents the lush vegetation of the land, and the yellow represents the sunshine. Along with other destinations in the Caribbean, Jamaica has a colorful festival of its very own in July. Jamaica's Reggae Sumfest, kicking off on a Sunday with the Sumfest Beach Party, and then having a new event each day until the week is over. Showcasing themes and dress codes, the the largest music festival in Jamaica and the Caribbean. Taking place each year in mid-July in Montego Bay, Sumfest started in 1993. Filled with Ivory spirit, Jamaica's name comes from the meaning land of wood and water. Reggae music and Rastafarian faith are commonly associated with Jamaica, filling the island with positive messaging and uplifting sounds, made popular globally by Bob Marley. Jamaica's national resilience and perseverance carries over into sports. This is largely reflected by athletes competing in various Olympic sports worldwide. A famous example being Usain Bolt setting new world records for track and field and being the fastest sprinter in history. Widely known for their laid-back approach, Jamaicans place no urgency on timing. This is reflected in business and personal schedules. Things can usually be delayed from 2 hours. Tourists have a few transportation options to choose from on the island, including buses that commonly have AC but might be a little bit crowded, taxis, so these are marked with red license plates starting with the letter P. Tourists can be urged to negotiate and agree on fares before departure for their destination. There are also multiple tourist transfer companies. They're great to travel with, and the guides are very friendly and knowledgeable. An example of a great shuttle service is Ras Tango. They can be found throughout the island. And there are also multiple domestic airports, some in Negril and Port Antonio, and private airports as well. A travel tip, renting a car may be a bit difficult for North American travelers, as Jamaica has a British history, so driving on the left is the way to go there, so the wrong side is the right side in Jamaica. Transfer time clients should be aware of from the airport to destinations. Montego Bay is about a 15-minute drive. Otro Rio is an hour-and-a-half shuttle or taxi, and Negril is about an hour and 20-minute shuttle or taxi. There are plenty of transportation options to suit all budgets. As a side note, roads can be a little bit bumpy, so be sure to allow yourself enough time to travel to your destination. Tourists have a variety of accommodation options on the island for the duration of their stay. These include all-inclusive resorts, so this is the most popular option for a stress-free, easy vacation. Villas are next in popularity among tourists, offering a tranquil, private vibe. And other options include hotels, apartments, and guest houses. So food, drink, and craft stands are situated along the roadside, leading to popular streets and markets. You can find roast yam and fresh coconut that are skillfully prepared by locals, and craft markets and shops, including items from local vendors. And other highly populated tourist areas have different senses as well. So the Gallery of West Indian Art is sourcing some of the best arts and crafts made in the Caribbean. They're located in the mountains above Montego Bay. It's somewhere vibrant to spend the day. You can look around at the gardens and art, and this sweet hideaway has art classes and is also a sanctuary for many colorful native birds. Jerk chicken and fish are found at the Jerk Shack Scotchies, a Montego Bay food highlight. The original and arguably best jerk shack in Jamaica dates back to the Taino people, where the meat here is dry rubbed or wet marinated with a hot spice mixture and usually contains garlic powder, cayenne, thyme, parsley, paprika, allspice, and pepper. This savory dish is packed with flavor, a favorite for locals and tourists. Moving on to Montego Bay, this is one of the main tourist hubs. Located on the north side of the island, Montego Bay boasts as a beautiful coastline. This is a gateway to all resorts from the airport, and also a cruise port is here. Here you can take advantage of this amazing scenery and book a sunset horseback riding tour at Half Moon Equestrian Center. I visited Half Moon, and I myself did a land and sea horseback riding excursion, and it was a blast. Moving on, a visit to Dunn's River Falls is one of Jamaica's national treasures. I was fortunate enough to visit the falls while I was in Jamaica on a group tour, and it was truly a unique experience. As you climb the falls, there are pool areas to relax and stop in, and slides made from rock. The water glistens in the sun, and the lush jungle around makes for a spectacular view. So next up, we have Luminous Lagoon. Here you can illuminate yourself and the waters around you. So Luminous Lagoon is a natural light show in the water. There are microscopic organisms called dinoflagellates, which emit blue flashes of light when activated by some sort of motion. A unique swimming experience or boating experience around dusk and at night, very close to Montego Bay. No trip to Jamaica would be complete without a tour of a distillery. Heading out of Montego Bay, the parish of Trelawney is best known for its sugar estates. You can even go on a tour of the Hampton Estate, the oldest working and running distillery, taking you through the heart of production and getting a view of the process and the history along with it. And of course, a highlight would be the tasting session. Otro Rio is another main tourist hub known for all-inclusive resorts. Here you can find the Golden Eye off the coast of the island with white sands and coral reefs. There's plenty of water activities and sports to check out here. Otro Rio's Blue Hole has a series of waterfalls and a stunning jungle setting. There is an entrance fee to the waterfalls. However, guides on hand put on a daring show jumping from the cliffs into the pools. On to Port Antonio. So here it's on the eastern side of the island. Port Antonio has hidden coves and magnificent beaches. You can explore Blue Lagoon by boat, see a beautiful tranquil area with warm blue waters. You can also check out Reach Falls. A great way to explore this area is by wooden raft. So on to Kingston. Kingston is atmospheric. It's known as the heartbeat of Jamaica. This busy cosmopolitan city is truly one of a kind. It's bursting with sunshine, half exotic jungle, and engaging business district has a lively nightlife. The possibilities for adventure are endless, from the sounds of Bob Marley to the endless blue views of the Blue Mountains in the capital. Next, I'm going to talk a little bit about the Blue Mountains and the coffee. So here you can hike to the top of these mountains and feast your eyes on views while you work on your quads. So you can see the lush and green rainforest, rare birds, and you can even take a tour of the mountains alone or with a guided group, doing a hiking or driving tour. Driving solo is not always recommended due to the steepness of the roads and the terrain. It may not be suitable for rental cars, so to ensure a smooth journey, four-wheel drive is strongly encouraged if you do decide to drive through the mountains. So here, some of the world's best coffee, originally brought over by the French, is grown. The coffee bean thrives in Jamaica. It's referred to Jamaican blue by locals. The very first specialty coffee here was made with a chocolatey taste. So topping off at 7,500 feet, the Blue Mountains are known worldwide, and they get their name from the bluish mist that covers the peaks in the distance. On a very clear day from the highest points, you can even see Cuba. So moving west of the island, best spot for water sports and diving. So a highlight here is Rick's Cafe. It's a cafe on the side of the cliff. Here you can eat and drink and watch locals, or if you're brave enough, you can dive off a cliff yourself. You can spend days in the grill on the beach and partying the night away. So they have very lush and tropical views. You can experience fine foods and stay at beautiful beach huts. All things you can also find at the Rock House Resort. So the Rock House Resort was built with sustainability in mind. So you can help encourage tourist dollars and revenue to go back into bettering the community. Travelers to Negril have a large draw to 7 Mile Beach as well, and some highlights include scuba diving and snorkeling. So I hope you enjoyed our tour of this captivating and lively island. The local saying to keep in mind is that there are never any problems in Jamaica, only situations. Making the effort to wander to this enchanting Caribbean destination and enjoy the rewarding holiday of a lifetime. Resort and hotel prices do vary, so I would ensure to check online for the most accurate rates. Once again, I'd like to thank everyone for attending my webinar today and Baxter Media for this wonderful opportunity to share my knowledge. Have a great day.
Thank you so much, Val.
Thanks, Dan.
So we'll allow a few minutes for people to submit any questions that they may have. And again, you guys can submit them to either the chat box or the Q&A box. Ian here at Baxter Media has a question.
Perfect.
Hi, Val. You said you've already been to Montego Bay. If you were to return to Jamaica, would it be Montego Bay, or would you try another location?
That's a great question. So if I were to return to Jamaica, I would love to venture out to Negril. I also really enjoy hiking, so I would definitely want to head to the eastern side of the island and see the Blue Mountains as well. But yeah, I would love to go back to Montego Bay, but it would be definitely cool to explore more.
Okay, great.
Thank you, Val.
Thanks.
Hi again, Val. It's Doctor again. What about the safety issue? Do you think there's any reason for tourists to be concerned, or do you think it's all fine?
The only thing I did read about safety with Jamaica was just to be cautious, like any country you may be visiting. So just to keep like personal valuables safe and stored away in your hotel room if you're not using them, as well as passports. Something that you can keep out an eye for is just nightlife as well. So Kingston is a very busy city, but I wouldn't talk about any dangers with my clients in particular. Safety throughout the island is pretty secure.
Thank you, Val.
Thank you.
And Val, when you were preparing for this webinar, what would you say was the hardest part of preparing for this webinar?
I'd say one of the more challenging things was just balancing it with my schedule and just the content. So I had a lot of things that I wanted to say, and I had to cut down my content significantly. There's a lot to explore in Jamaica, and I feel I highlighted most of the top places. But I would say if I had longer for the webinar, I definitely would have gone more in depth to places.
Okay, thank you.
Perfect. Thanks, Dan.
So I do believe that's it for the question period. But I would like to thank everyone that tuned in the webinar today. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day. And Val, thank you again for your fantastic presentation.
Thanks, Dan.
And thank you again for participating in the 2019 Baxter Student Ambassador Program. We'll be in touch.
Perfect. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.